Magic Tree House 1. Dinosaurs Before Dark. Chapter 1. Into the Woods. Help, a monster, said Annie. Yeah, sure, said Jack. A real monster in Frog Creek Peninsula. Run, Jack, said Annie. She ran up the road. Oh, brother, thought Jack. This is what he got for spending time with his 7-year-old sister. Annie loved pretending stuff, but Jack was 8.5. He liked real things. Watch out, Jack. The monster's coming, said Annie. Jack didn't say anything. Come on, Jack, I'll race you, said Annie. No thanks, said Jack. Annie raced alone into the woods. Jack looked at the sky. The sun was about to set. Come on, Annie, it's time to go home, yelled Jack, but Annie didn't answer. Jack waited. Annie, he called again. Jack, Jack, shouted Annie, come here, quick. Jack groaned. This better be good, he said. Jack left the road and headed into the woods. The trees were lit with a gold late afternoon light. Over here, called Annie. Annie was standing under a tall oak tree. Look, she said. She pointed at a rope ladder. It was hanging down from high into the tree. Wow, Jack whispered. At the top of the tree was a tree house, tucked between two branches. That must be the highest tree house in the world, said Annie. Who built it? Asked Jack. I've never seen it before. I don't know, but I'm going up, said Annie. No, we don't know who it belongs to, said Jack. But for a teeny minute, said Annie. She started up the ladder. Annie, come back, Jack said, but Annie kept climbing. She climbed all the way up to the tallest branches. Jack sighed. Annie, is almost dark. We have to go home. Annie disappeared inside the treehouse. Annie, Jack called. Jack waited a moment. He was about to call again when Annie poked her head out of the treehouse window. Books, Annie shouted. What? Jack said. It's filled with books, said Annie. Oh man, Jack thought. He loved books. Jack pushed his glasses into place. He gripped the side of the rope ladder and started up. Chapter 2. The Monster. Jack crawled into the treehouse. Wow, he said, the treehouse was filled with books. Books were everywhere. Very old books with dusty covers and new books with shiny bright covers. Look, said Annie, you can see far away. She was peering out the treehouse window. Jack looked out the window with her. Below were the tops of other trees. In the distance, he could see the Frog Creek Library and the elementary school and the park. Annie pointed into the other directions. There's our house, he said. Annie was right. Jack could see their white wooden house with its green porch. In the yard next door was their neighbor's black dog, Henry. He looks very tiny. Hi, Henry, shouted Annie. We're not supposed to be up here, Jack sighed. Jack glanced around the treehouse again. He noticed that bookmarks were sticking out of many of the books. I wonder who owns all these books, he said. Like this one, said Annie. She picked up a book with the castle on the cover. Here's a book about Peninsula, said Jack. He turned the page with the bookmark. Hey, here's a picture of Frog Creek, said Jack. It's a picture of these woods. Oh, here's a book for you, said Annie. She held up a book about dinosaurs. A blue slick bookmark was sticking out of it. Let me see, said Jack. He set his backpack down on the floor and grabbed the book from Annie. Okay, you look at that one, and I'll look at the one about castles, said Annie. No, we'd better not, said Jack. We don't know who these books belong to. But even as he said this, Jack was opening the dinosaur book to the place where the bookmark was. He couldn't help himself. Jack turned to a picture of an ancient flying reptile. He recognized as it as a pterodon. He touched the huge bat-like wings in the picture. Wow, whispered Jack. I wish we could go to the time of pterodons. Jack studied the picture of an odd-looking creature soaring through the sky. Ah, screamed Annie. What? Said Jack. A monster, Annie cried. She pointed out to the treehouse window. Stop pretending, Annie, said Jack. No, really, said Annie. Jack looked out the window. A giant creature was gliding above the treetops. It had a long, weird crest on the back of its head, a shiny beak, and huge bat-like wings. It was a real pterodon. The creature swooped through the sky. It looked like a giant glider plane. It was coming straight toward the treehouse. Get down, cried Annie. Jack and Annie crushed on the floor. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster, and everything was still, absolutely still.